This morning I woke up to a throbbing knee. I felt like John McCain in that I couldn't quite lift my right arm without incredible hurt. A shattered plate lay on the ground with a half-eaten sandwich lying nearby. I can't recall as I was under quite an influence last night, but I'm guessing I took a pretty dirty spill. That being said, I'm not operating at my best potential today, but it ain't nothing but pain, and I'm positive I'll be back on top of the world in due time. Why did the booze flow so easily last night? Could it have been the vantage point where social anxiety met with the omnipresent yearning for love? And as I stood face to face with a prospect in all her beauty and gregariousness, is that what cracked the booze valve wide open? I don't know. Yet here I am with a rotten gut. Here I am with a brain at war with headache. Here I am with a mind that's deleted chunks of time from last night. Here I am alone, existing on an infinite plane, yet the self can be traced back to a single finite point, and never ever will that be escapable. But it ain't nothing but pain, and I'm positive I'll be back on top of the world in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I gotta go water my plants now. Hey, what's going on? I'd like to talk about a couple of books today. The first being Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I just finished this book, and it was great. This book has been described as an anti-Western. Its passages are very bleak, distorted with extreme violence, and yet the prose is so beautifully crafted. If you're not familiar with Cormac McCarthy's writing, he kind of breaks the rules of standard American grammar. The story follows a character unnamed, mostly known as just the kid. Eventually he becomes some sort of a protagonist, not necessarily a totally active protagonist though, if you understand what I'm saying. Now this book borrows from historical context. It follows the Glanton Gang, which was a real gang of scalp hunters in the mid-1800s, down in Mexico. I'd like to read a little passage, beginning on page 18 here. I think this passage, it's one of my favorites. I think it really kind of sums up the whole mood of the book. Let's see. Lost you way in the dark, said the old man. He stirred the fire, standing slender tufts of bone up out of the ashes. The kid didn't answer. The old man swung his head back and forth. The way of the transgressor is hard. God made this world, but he didn't make it to suit everybody, did he? I don't believe he much had me in mind. Aye, said the old man. But where does a man come by his notions? What world's he seen that he liked better? I can think of better places and better ways. Can you make it be? No. No, it's a mystery. A man's at odds to know his mind, because his mind is aught he has to know it with. He can know his heart, but he don't want to, rightly so. Best not to look there. It ain't the heart of a creature that is bound in the way that God has set for it. You can find meekness in the least of creatures, but when God made man, the devil was at his elbow. A creature that can do anything. Make a machine. Machine to make a machine. An evil that can run itself 1,000 years, no need to tend it. You believe that? I don't know. Believe that. Now, what we see here is this old man, who, if I was to read on, you'd see is a bit off of his rocker. This man contains with him a little bit of wisdom that will go a long way in this book. And I don't want to ruin any of the plot, but this book goes down some deep, twisted, dark roads. And it can be a bit troubling to read, like I said before, but I think you'll find it rather enjoyable, and if you have an open mind, well, you might just really like it.
Our language is complex, dude. Yeah, it lends itself to those activities, and it goes that way for the written language, too. You know, books and all that, and I just often wondered, like, even when they translate stuff, how much you lose, and like I said, language has just been on my mind lately, how much it must affect people, and, because it's at our very thoughts. And the thing that got me is, what makes you think?
What makes you think?
Well, yeah, what do you think before you know a language? What are you thinking? Is that just pictures?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the very like human essence is.
And I think some of it is that you don't. But like, does that go hand in hand? Does memory have to?
Think about it. Think about your first memories. In like, did you know words at that point, or do you remember any words at that point? Is that when you start to form memories, when you can speak,
or is it the words?
Start to understand language?
And I'll go even further. Is it if it's not when you first form words? Maybe you have the pictures before, but do those have any meaning?
Right. No, dude, I've been reading a lot of classics lately. I finished Huck Finn finally. You ever read that? Yes, of course. Great fucking book.
What about that? Have you read other Samuel Clemens?
No. I will tell you what, like I know most people read The Adventures of Mark Twain, right? Is that what it's called?
Adventures
or not Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer is a little fucking prick.
Yeah, well, especially when you read
So I don't know if I want to read a whole book about Tom Sawyer, dude.
You get a different impression, though.
Do you?
Because kind of like
the whole like last 3 quarters of Huck Finn's
good old boy. Tom Sawyer's like
Tom
that.
Sawyer's this rich little asshole.
Yeah, but he goes and gets it. You know, he gets those kids.
Yeah, he's adventurous, but he fucks things like.
Hey, you know what? This homeschooled guy I work with.
He almost got him killed.
This homeschooled guy I work with has never read 1984 or Brave New World either.
I haven't finished Brave New World. I've read like half of it. 1984 is one of my favorites. I love George Orwell.
Because I don't remember either very well. And I'm
read
trying
84 2 or 3 times.
Oh, I've read it before. But I'm trying really hard to remember it. If that makes sense?
No.
You know, like I know if I think about it, but I'm like, no, because maybe I'll be able to. But I gotta get out of here. Otherwise I'll be talking all night. Yeah. Right?
It's been real, bud.
Yo, what's happening, bro? It's just Katana hanging out with my homie Frank. Like, what? Mahalo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always 420 somewhere. Peace out, bros.
Peace, man.
Yo,
hey,
bro.
y'all don't have to go home, but you gotta get out of here.
Shit, man. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Later, bro. Teen Shake. Peace out, bro, Avocado.
The experience of buying a $60,000 car is, to say the least, different. You get to walk around a showroom without looking over your shoulder. Nobody makes you have a conversation you really don't want to have. And you're given all the time you need to make your decision. It's a pretty nice way to shop for an automobile. And it feels even better when the car you're looking at costs around $12,000.
Do you guys ever find yourselves in the middle of doing something, and then something internally changes and you just become disinterested, and you just stop? This next book, which I'm going to be honest, I haven't even read yet. It's by Jean-Paul Sartre. I hope I pronounced that right. It's called Being and Nothingness, the principal text of modern existentialism. I think the cover is really cool. It's a big book though, and I'm just not sure I'm ready to crack into it yet. Sometimes I'll get a bold idea and I'll start working towards something, creating something, trying to manifest something, and then I'll just stop. And then there are pieces that I have finished, music things, physical, drawings or sculptures or whatever. There are things that I create, and more times than not, I won't share them with anybody. And I think that's at least a lot of people's idea of art, is to share your creation with other people. Otherwise, it's just some form of masturbation in a way. I have dabbled in existentialism and the trains of thought that go along with it, and it's not always the most comfortable place to be. It requires an open mind and a sense of, I'm not sure, maybe no sense at all. I'll have all these grand ideas and then they just pitter-patter out, and here I am, wondering what's the point of it all. Sometimes I find myself ambivalent to theism, atheism, agnosticism, all sorts of different religions and philosophies and all sorts of stuff. And I've always been very interested in these ways. But I've never had the ability to just really take hold of one and hold it strong. But that's one of the things I enjoy about life, is the search for answers, the search for Hey, I'm finally ready to show you guys my garden. I know you've been waiting for it. I'm a little nervous and I hope you don't judge too hard, but to heck with it. Let's go. Check out my garden. If you recall, in the previous episode, my friend Brandon described urban farming as having 12 or more plants in an urban setting. Well, it turns out I got 12 on the dot, a dozen. Here we got 6 peas, 1 tomato, 5 more pea plants right here, and a little house plant my mother gave me. Thought I'd bring it outside because the weather's just been so great. I think it's this sort of downward spiraling dead end of a thought train that tempts me to reach for a bottle or something to smoke or any sort of thing that'll change the kind of emptiness that's boiling over in here and here. But it never really helps. It just makes things a little more cloudy.
Check out this elaborate rope ladder that I made for my pea plants to climb.
I hope one day to be able to better control my own inner workings of my psyche. I hope. Did you guys like my garden? Nice. Yeah, you know, it's a little small and it's got some work to go. But for my first year, I'm pretty happy with it. And I hope that it bears me lots of fresh veggies. And fruits. Tomatoes are fruit. Cool. When you record yourself, you never really die.